What's going on, CDL fans? We're back again with an updated power ranking after week 4 of CDL matches. On screen, as always, is what our rankings were last week. And of course, here's our blank slate for the power rankings today, March 12th, after week 4 qualifiers for Major 2. Couple notable headlines in the bottom. Are Ultra falling off? They are on a 2-game losing streak. Of course, those losses came against other top 4 teams, so it's not like they're losing against really bad teams. And then FAZE and New York are looking kind of like the favorites for Major 2 at this point in time. They look like the most informed teams in the game. Then as well, we'll be watch partying matches here on the channel on Saturday and Sunday. So definitely come check it out. I appreciate all the support in the recent streams. But let's hop right into it, because honestly, the rankings this week are very interesting. And you're going to see why in a second. So starting it off at number 12, it is the LA Gorillas. They lost this past weekend. They look really, really bad. These guys cannot... I mean, they just can't do anything. It's like, honestly, really, really poor out of the Gorillas just how bad they're playing. I have their stuff pulled up. They're currently 0-5. They've only won 3 maps in Major 2 so far in this split. So Gorillas, I think, are by far the worst team in the game at this point. Then coming in at number 11, moving up 1 spot because they did get a win this weekend, and it is the Miami Heretics. Miami is actually 1-8, and they're 8-16 in map count so far. So they have won 5 more maps than LAG, obviously also taking down LAG this past weekend. Or no, they took down Ravens this past weekend, my bad. Honestly, Miami, they still don't look great, but they were able to get a win. So for that reason, obviously they're going to move up when Gorillas were 11 last. They just basically swapped spots because Miami won and Gorillas didn't. Then here's where it kind of gets interesting. Seattle Surge, they stay at 10. I still don't have a lot of confidence in Seattle, right? But whether you're 9, 10, 11, or 12, either way, that's like the bottom 4, right? Those are the people that are going to go out top 12 at the major based on these power rankings. Of course, there's differences on land and with matchups, but for the power ranking sense of things, 9 through 12 doesn't make much of a difference when you look at top 12 at a major. And then just ahead of them is the Ravens, who, again, are not moving just like the Seattle Surge. And I'm actually going to put up the next 4 here because, honestly, I didn't move any of these teams this week. All of these teams I have staying in the exact same spot this week. To me, I just don't know how you'd move these guys, right? If I look at the matches from this past weekend, Boston lost to OPTIC and lost to FAZE, which is obviously 2 really good teams. So, like, what are you going to expect? The Ravens beat the Gorillas, but the Gorillas are the worst team in the game. The Rocker beat the Surge. They're already above them, though. Who else we got on here? Miami beat Ravens. So, like, overall, these teams, they got a couple wins, but usually it was to the teams that were worse than them. And it's just like, it's all over the place. Maybe you could argue Ravens drop because they lost to Miami. I wouldn't put Ravens under Seattle. So honestly, just based on the rankings, it's super hard to put these in a way that for these bottom 6, they're just all really bad, honestly. I do think Minnesota and Boston are the better of these ones. And then Ravens, I do think, is like next up. Hence why I have them kind of in this order. You could maybe even put Minnesota over Boston if you want, because Minnesota won this past weekend, but they've looked pretty abysmal as well, whereas Boston has 2 wins right now. So yeah, you can kind of go with whatever, but you sort of see what I mean. These guys are all super interchangeable. Then now into our top 6. At number 6, I do have the Legion, and of course, I forgot to put the down arrow. Let me slot a down arrow in here real quick. The Legion are down 1 spot from last week, right? Obviously, they were number 5, and they did in fact lose to the LA Thieves this past weekend, who, to no surprise, are going to be up 1 spot into number 5. I think this is pretty straightforward. They were 5 and 6 last week, just the other way around. Thieves beat Legion, therefore they move up in the power rankings. This is a weekly power ranking that adjusts based on what happens. So I think that is a very fair movement. Do I think Thieves are a team that are like definitely getting top 5 at the major? As an LAT fan, I can be hopeful, but I'm still not super confident in this team. Afro is still pretty hit or miss. Nasty and Kremp sometimes have off matches, even though they are putting in damage, and Ghosty has been good. I think at this point in time, Thieves have to be number 5 in the power rankings. Although, like I said, going into the major, any of these teams could end up getting a top 5, top 6, and any of them could end up getting a top 12. I really think I have no idea what is going to happen on LAN. And now coming into our top 4, once again, I want to preface, this is a weekly power ranking that adjusts based on what we see every single week. If I had a team down at 10 and they beat a team up at 3, they're not going to move all the way up above the team at 3, right? That's insane. But if I have a team at 4 and they beat the team at 3, then 3 and 4 are going to switch spots, right? Like, I think that makes sense. So with all that being said, I already know we're going to have some haters in the comments. And if you disagree with me, that is totally fine. I 100% understand opinions. I think this top 4 can sort of be however you want it. But for me, NYSL is still at 4. Kind of pains me because I think they look really, really good right now. But I just don't have any of the teams above them dropping below them yet. But I'll put them all on screen, man. I got Ultra fall in the 3 and I got Optic above them. I already know the Toronto Ultra fans are pissed. But hear me out. If Toronto and Optic switch places, right? Like if Optic were looked at as the best team in the game, like Ultra have been for the majority of this season, and then Ultra came out, or FaZe came out and beat Optic, and then Ultra came out and beat Optic, every Ultra fan would be saying Ultra should be 2, Optic should be 3. So now that the roles are actually reversed, I know Ultra fans are pissed off. You guys won Major 1. You looked incredible at Major 1, but you cannot doubt that Toronto does not look as good as they looked in Major 1. And you also cannot doubt that they're on a 2-game losing streak. They won 1 round in 2 maps of SND versus Optic. They didn't win a single round in Control. They got 3-0'd by Atlanta FaZe. I know it's online cheese. At the end of the day, you can only play what you have. This is the schedule. This is how the league is played. We can't pretend online matches do not count. Online matches are a part of the league. It's a part of the schedule. You're playing other pro teams. You should come out and try to win. For the players, like if Scrappy's watching this video, he's not going to care that he's put at 3, right? Scrap knows how good he is. The Ultra players know how good they are. It's the fans that are going to be the ones that are going to get angry at this sort of thing. So at the end of the day, you should still be confident in your team. I would still be confident in Ultra going into the Major. I think one of these top 4 teams is 100% winning it. Who is it going to be? Honestly, I lean probably towards FaZe or New York, like I said in the beginning of the video right now, just because Ultra and Optic look a little shaky in a couple modes. I think the most fair way, the most unbiased way of doing this is to have Optic over Ultra because they are right next to each other in the rankings last week. Optic beat them. I know it was in game 5, but the 3 maps they won were very convincing. The first HP was a little close. The second HP wasn't as close. Ultra kind of dominated that one. I think this is the most fair from a neutral perspective. Anyone who's not an Optic or Ultra fan, I think would agree with me on this. I know Ultra won Major 1. I don't want to hear it. It's online. It's not on LAN. I don't want to hear it, man. These are matches against other pro teams. They do matter. You cannot pretend it doesn't matter when it's your team that's losing. If your team was the one winning, you would be like, hell yeah, we won. We beat Optic or we beat FaZe. Like, who cares that it's online? Obviously, we're better, but you have to look at it unbiasedly, and this is what I have. Let me know what you think of these rankings. Like I said, I'm sure someone already unsubscribed, reported my account, commented some stupid hate because they're a mad Ultra fan. But this is what it is, man. These rankings update every single week. And I hope for a majority of you watching this, you can at least understand. Whether you disagree is fine, but you can at least understand why I do it the way I do it, because I try to make these as unbiased as possible. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. And with all that being said, I'll see you in the next one.